I'm grateful that I have a bed to sleep in, electricity, clean running water. Like, I'm grateful for all those things. And the second that you take any one little thing for granted, it becomes a slippery slope. I'm grateful that I'm alive, and I'm not going to keep, going back into that. But there are scenarios where I've seen people in our position that have gone through the same things that we're talking about, and they've tried to supplement that dopamine, like Johnny was saying, with partying or whatever, and they'll do it on the road, and it continues. And that lifestyle is such a slippery slope that a lot of them end up dead. And we see some of the greatest artists of all time that can't handle that type of transition between two different lifestyles, and then it just flows over into another, and the next thing you know, they're gone. And I've seen that happen with certain artists, and I've seen like what killed them, and I went, holy shit, like I was doing that. Like, I'm very lucky to be alive. And then that's just the way that I really kind of approach every day of life. It's like, oh, I woke up today. Shit. All right. What's good? Like, we're going to do something good today. I mean, it's not always good. I'm sure that we can all attest to that, but, trying to make the best of every possible situation.
So those I'm sorry. Did you want to say, sorry?
No. Oh,
no, it's something I struggle with. And it's kind of related to something I've seen, Matt, in the way kind of you post online, where like, I know you're going through some difficult times. This is like going back a year or two ago, and you were pretty like vocal about it and open about it. It's like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I'm dealing with this. And I know you took a break from social media for a minute. And I feel this kind of pressure as like a public facing, kind of artist and personality, that you have to kind of project success all the time. And we're doing this and we're doing great. And it's this thing of like, and this is kind of something I could put out there for everybody, if anyone wants to chime in, about that struggle between vulnerability and honesty, right? Like where do you go with it? Do you like, because I deal with it all the time, and I have my own podcast, and I do these monologues, and half the time I'm like, do I want to tell people I'm feeling depressed again? Do I want to like put that energy out there? Do I, and I think maybe different for you, Eva, but I feel like men are told to kind of suppress our, like, if we're feeling down, that we have to like, be strong and put that out there, and it's a little
For
different.
sure.
Because everyone here is a vocalist and writes lyrics and probably has an outlet to be vulnerable more so than a lot of other people. But I don't know if anyone else struggles with that public idea of putting that stuff out there, because you have to make it look like you're kicking ass all the time.
Dude, the man thing and the industry thing, and then the frontman thing, like that, it's like a trifecta, man. It's like three things all at once, and you're like, I just got to suppress it all. And I got, like you said, I got to the point where it's like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, I've got to come out and be like, yo, this is what's up, man. Like, I got to tell people, like, I had a lot of people that came back and like, straight up, they were like, dude, you're a bitch. Like, why are you acting like a bitch? And I'm like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
let the trolls abound.
That's the fear, right? Is that that kind of feedback?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. And I was just like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. Take it or leave it. You don't like it, fuck off.
I have a question about that, Matt. Like, what? Okay, so that's the fear of why you wouldn't do that, right? But once you do it and you rip the Band-Aid off, does it feel better? Because then you can just own it.
It doesn't, because you've got multiple different avenues of people who are telling you how you're supposed to be who you are. And when I signed up to do what I do now, I was an electrician by trade for years, and I had a nice career, house of defense, kid, dog, yard, whole thing. So when I signed up to do this, I signed up for the pipe dream, and I risked everything to do it. But I did it on the thought of being who I am, putting myself into my music, being real to myself. I grew up on hip hop, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be real as shit. This is what I'm doing, right? And then I did it, and then all of a sudden it's like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to be this person, you got to be this person. I'm like, fuck, I can't take this. So no, it never really got any easier. So when I see other artists out there that are doing it, I'm like, yeah, boy, get that shit. You tell them what's up.
Yeah, I would love to just comment what you brought up, Doc. Just that struggle of what do you reveal and what do you keep to yourself, and because I think that's a really relatable thing to everyone, just in any walk of life. And for me personally, like, I've discovered a lot of success personally on the mental health front in having a weekly to bi-weekly therapy session with my therapist. And that way I just have like a baseline of a human being who's checked in with like my mental well-being and health, that I can divulge anything to, and legally, you know,
Who has a therapist here?
Huh?
Who has a therapist here? I have one.
I'm pretty sure I need one.
Actually,
And-
just said to Danny prior to this, I was talking to him on the phone. I was like, yo, bro, I need a therapist, man.
Yeah, because I think it gives you like, there's never going to be that bottling up thing, because you constantly have a safe place to vent everything.
Yeah.
And then it puts you in a position to make a conscious choice on what you want to reveal to the world, and what you want to, you know, what pearls you want to cast to swine, as they say. You know, it's like there's a lot of times divulging things to the world of people who don't really give a fuck about you isn't necessarily the wisest thing to do, because you're going to get a whole host of opinions that aren't in your best interest. You know, these people don't really care about you. But then with a certain thing, like you're saying, you know, oh, maybe I should be vulnerable about this thing, but because you don't have that bottled up, like, emotional, like, urge, or like you feel compelled, like you're about to explode, because that's taken care of with therapy, I think you come from maybe a more conscious place where you can just choose what you let people in on, you know, rather than do it out of compulsion or something.
I totally agree. I mean, I've always said that therapy is like the best one-sided relationship, because there's no vested, like they're not invested in my personal life. Like, I don't owe them anything, right? They are there for me and for me only, with what I need to share. And then there's like this built-in HIPAA thing where like that doesn't go anywhere else, right? So it's wonderful. And you know, I'll shout out a couple of resources. Just psychologytoday.com is where I find everybody. But it is really cool, and I love that perspective, because when you do the work for you in a space that is safe for you, then then you get to choose, then you get to pick and choose, and you don't feel so maybe, like you were saying, kind of ruled by emotions, right?